I have a dream.
We choose to go to the moon.
There's cities to be built, and there's a world to be helped.
I regard myself as a soldier.
We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight
from where the zipper ends, round under my back to my bunghole, down where your nuts hang.
I guess all of you would say this about your mother.
Welcome to History Squirt. I'm Ron Thompson.
I'm Jason.
And welcome to part 2 of the Medici family.
Yes. We're going to start with Lorenzo's just died.
What?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no, well, we're gonna name the children.
All of them?
We're going to find out his children's names.
Yeah, well, we are, yes. The children's names.
That was the cliffhanger that we left it on last time.
No, I'm going to slow play it. I'll give it to it like as we get to that kid. We'll start with the first one, though. I'll give you the first one. It's Pedro the Unfortunate. Right, now... Now, I just want to talk about good names, bad names, because Lorenzo is known as Lorenzo the Magnificent.
Yeah, going to unfortunate doesn't seem real good.
It doesn't seem great. So he took over Florence in 1492. It was a brief period of calm between the Italian states, but that all collapsed in 1494 with the decision of Charles VIII of France to cross the Alps with an army and assert an hereditary claim on the Kingdom of Naples.
Where pizza was invented.
Was it?
Yeah, it was invented in Naples.
Don't like, we could use that as a podcast, bro. That's the history of pizza. Like, that's a great podcast. Like, everyone wants to know about pizza. Well, why would you tell the people that now? They're not going to Google it.
Then we'll finish with that other idea that you had, which is just to have you eating a pizza on camera.
No, I like that. I listened back one about the cows. I want to do a podcast about cows. That one does interest me slightly. The history of cows and how they
how we domesticated them.
How they've lived through life the whole time at our side.
And why the donkey at the sex show instead of the cow? Instead of the bull.
Yeah, why? I don't know.
Cheaper.
Yeah, okay.
Hornier, maybe.
So obviously the Kingdom of Naples is not Florence.
More beautiful penis, perhaps. More shapely penis.
You finished? You know?
Yeah, I think so.
So the Kingdom of Naples, so he's taken the Kingdom of Naples. So Pedro waited 5 days before responding to Florence, that Florence would remain neutral in this war. This was unacceptable to Charles, who invaded Tuscany and took a fortress, brutal massacre, sacking.
Tuscan salad is a thing. So we talked about Etruscan salad, which I'm not sure is real. But there is such a thing as a Tuscan salad.
And
just so you know.
All right, like, I don't know.
It's also Tuscan chicken.
What percentage would you say that there's definitely a Tuscan, like, salad? Like 80%?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Yeah,
there's definitely a Tuscan salad. All right.
Yeah.
All right, you got this mastered. Yeah. All right. So then our Pedro the Unfortunate decided to make a deal. So he makes a deal. He returns to Florence and back to the Signoria to tell everyone what deal he made. And the public is outraged with the deal. And they throw him out.
So what's the
city.
deal? He basically that he can have Tuscany and Naples.
I'm not sure what the deal was, actually. I didn't even bother to think the deal. The deal was, but the deal was so bad that they threw him out.
I didn't bother to find out what the deal was.
I don't care. He was giving him a bunch of
Dude.
money and like land and shit like that. Like it was just that's what happens. What else do you think they want?
Yeah, but what was the deal? Come on, dude.
No, didn't even bother.
Okay.
He probably wanted a bunch of land, fortresses, probably a bit of money. The general thing you want from like deals.
He came back and he was all, it's the best deal.
Yeah.
It's the best deal that's ever been done.
And his entire family had to flee the city.
Yeah.
His family home was looted, and a republic was formed in Florence. So the Medici kicked out of Florence. Pedro in 1503 decided to join the French against the Spanish in the war over the Kingdom of Naples, and Pedro drowned in a river while attempting to flee after a battle.
What an absolute shill. Just joins the opposing side.
So, well, I think he was trying to get his kingdom back, but he just never could.
Yeah, Pedro the shit.
Okay. So that's the end of his life. That's son number 1.
Did he drown in like 3 inches of water?
No, that wasn't him.
Oh.
What?
Who drowned?
Well, he drowned. No, he drowned, just not in 3 inches of water.
Yeah, okay.
I think there's a few other famous people who have legitimately died in that amount of water. You just drown in mud, basically. You drown in basically mud. There's a French king, I swear, like they just fall in mud or small rivers and they just get stuck and they can't get them out. Armor's heavy. Like you fall in water or like a boggy place, unless someone grabs you and picks you up, you die. All right, so let's go to our second son, Giovanni di Lorenzo Medici.
Not very inventive names. Just going back through the family tree.
So he's the second son of Lorenzo. At an early age, Giovanni was destined for an ecclesiastical career. That's not the right word. A career in the church.
Ecclesiastical.
That's the one. So he was destined for that career. So he received the tonsure at the age of 7. So you know what tonsure is? Tonsure.
No, some sort of heavy shore.
No, it's that weird thing that monks do where they shave the top of their head.
Oh, just the top. Yeah.
You know that look that
the one from
monks
Robin
have?
Hood. What's his name? The one from Robin Hood.
Yeah, the one that all the monks have.
Yeah. Yeah, but what's the guy's name from Robin Hood? Anyway. Yeah, the Friar Tuck.
Friar Tuck, yeah, that's it. So at the age of 7, that's his hairstyle.
That's brutal. That is brutal. At the age of 7. Imagine going to school with that.
Well, he's not going to school.
Absolute shit bullet out of
He's in the church. He's in the church. His father was worried about his character early on and wrote a letter that there is one rule which I would recommend to your attention in preference to all others. Rise early in the morning. This does not only contribute to your health, but will enable you to arrange and expedite your business of the day. And there are various duties to attend to. So his father basically was implying that his second son was a bit lazy, I think.
Yeah, gets up late, slovenly.
Yeah, and he's trying to get him to make sure he gets up in the morning. But he's named a cardinal at the age of 13.
I imagine if everyone's got that same haircut, right, you'd actually get bullied if you didn't have it. Be like, look at this long hair ass looking motherfucker.
So back to our
Look at this guy with a full head of hair. What a dickhead.
Back to our overarching timeline. So obviously when he's been made a cardinal at 13, his father, Lorenzo, is still in charge.
Yeah.
So he's still highly influential member of the family. But he wasn't allowed to wear the insignia or deliberate in the colleges until 3 years later. So even though he is a cardinal, they're not really let him get involved till the age of 16. Rightfully so, of course. That's being responsible there. Wait till they're 16 before they can start making life-changing decisions.
You have to become a man. You have to become a man before you can fuck boys.
So he just sort of lived between Rome and Florence for his whole life until his brother was obviously kicked out of the city and he had to stay in Rome forever. Well, he spent all his time in Rome then because he couldn't go back to Florence because his family's been kicked out.
Still part of the church?
Oh?
Still part of the church, though?
Yeah, he's still in the church. Still in the church. In 1513, he's elected Pope.
So how old is he then? 17?
No, he's sort of older now. So hang on, it's 1513. He's born in 1475. Some quick maths. He's like 38. Yeah, 38.
That's not bad.
Yeah, well, like
It's
the
on
absence
on the 40 under 40 list.
Yeah, he's a bit older now at least. He's probably got somewhat. But the French cardinals were absent, reducing the contest between Giovanni and younger members of the college. So basically, because all the French cardinals weren't there, it came down to the Italian cardinals who voted. He got the support of the younger group. Another guy got the support of the older group, but he managed to take the day.
It sounds like the other contenders were much younger.
Pope Leo X is his name. So we'll now...
Why don't they rename themselves? Get rid of their past sins?
Possibly. No, I think it's just you take a different name as Pope. You're now a new person. You're like a religious head. So Pope Leo X, he created St. Peter's Basilica.
Okay, so he did some good stuff then too. Also a lover of the arts.
So like his family, he is also obsessed with the arts. And without ruining the entirety of the story, he spends all the church's money on the arts.
On art.
But we'll get there. He immediately increases new cardinals by 1/3, an almost unprecedented number in the history of the papacy.
Just want some more boys around. He's like, he just wants some mates.
No, unfortunately not.
Some boys to sink tinnies with.
As you can understand, at the age of 13, his being named cardinal was somewhat due to bribes, and those new cardinals were bribing their way to be cardinals.
I see.
So it was
We needs money for that, for the basilica.
He needs money for all sorts of things. And in response to concerns about misconduct, he issues indulgences.
He was the indulgence guy.
He is the indulgence guy.
Indulgences.
The indulgences.
Do you want to explain what they are?
You're buying off the church the right to get rid of your sins.
This is like rather than going to confession, you can pre-buy an indulgence. Or do you buy it post?
I think you bought it post. You sinned, you bought an indulgence that cleared you from the sin. And this would piss some people off. Most importantly, Martin Luther, who wrote his 95 Thesis and mentioned the indulgences as being one of the issues that he had.
Now, indulgences actually brings us to our ad read.
Oh, does it?
For today, yes.
It's the key word you're waiting
we can
for.
Discuss how I came to the... I didn't know that you were going to talk about indulgences today, but I was thinking about them and I came up with an idea. So yeah, if you're looking to advertise with History Squirt, you can email us at historysquirt.podcast@gmail.com, or if you'd like to correct anything that Jason has said during the episode, perhaps his pronunciation of words, feel free to email through. If you want to just hear about something in particular, send us an email. Calm, tranquil, serene. That's the sound of a planet unburdened by climate change. At AtmosOffset, we believe meaningful climate change action requires bold, measurable solutions delivered at scale. Meet John. He was 8. He lived in a small orphanage near a strategic logistics corridor. When conflict reached his region, the orphanage was destroyed, and with it, John's carbon future. He will no longer ride in cars. He won't buy clothes, eat processed food, or charge his devices. John's carbon footprint ended early, and he's not alone. Across global conflict zones, entire emissions futures are being erased permanently. At AtmosOffset, we quantify these reductions using our proprietary Mortality Density Index, or MDI, a metric that measures the projected lifetime emissions removed per individual per square kilometre of conflict-impacted terrain. Higher density, higher impact, greater opportunity for offset. These reductions meet and exceed global standards, qualifying under UNFCCC Article 6 and aligning with Scope 3 categorization of supply chain emissions. Through permanence, nothing is rebuilt for decades. Additionality, this wouldn't have happened without intervention. And leakage control. Supply chains don't shift, they completely collapse. Furthermore, through our Remains to Renewables initiative, we convert post-conflict mass graves into sealed anaerobic bioreactors, capturing methane, generating clean electricity, and closing the loop on waste. The result? Fewer people, fewer emissions, more energy. So join the growing number of businesses and individuals using conflict credits to offset their emissions and meet their net zero goals faster. Whether you're a multinational reducing Scope 3 emissions or a conscientious consumer offsetting an overseas flight, your offsets can do more than plant trees. They can reshape the planet. So choose to purchase with AtmosOffset because net zero doesn't have to mean doing nothing. Visit AtmosOffset.com today to learn more and leave less. Do you know much about carbon credits? I think this is a fabulous scheme to get involved with if you're a business who's generating carbon and you're looking to offset that carbon. Very nice. I think this will probably lead to, or perhaps get involved in wars to reduce your carbon. Corporatized war could be something to look forward to in the future.
I think I would say that war surely can't reduce carbon emissions. But have you heard of the famous example of Genghis Khan? Just bringing it back to history a little bit. Now,
They had a lot of horses.
Well, the thing is, he killed 10% of the population, right?
Yes.
And they have measured, how they do the soil tests to measure, soil levels and what was in the atmosphere at the time?
Carbon, yeah.
Yeah. They have proven that because he killed 10% of the population, carbon emissions actually, they can see the drop in carbon emissions due to all the deaths that he caused in the soil. It's the right timeline. So
I'm onto something.
So I think you might there's historical proof that this sort of thing works.
So I went with this because it was a little bit less controversial, perhaps. My original idea was essentially indulgences for genocide. But I thought that was maybe a little hot and it needed to be sort of reframed with a environmental theme.
You could just exterminate people and that would solve your carbon problem, right?
Well, yeah, that's what you're doing, but you're destroying whole cities. You're destroying industry here. So I think it's something like the top. There's 100 organizations that cause 70% of the carbon emissions for the world. So if you can destroy whole industries, problem solved.
I swear, I also swear Bill Burr had this same idea. Have you not heard? I swear he had a bit where he was what we're going to do is we're going to get people to build cruise ships, right? Then you're going to get a cruise ship, put all those people on the cruise ship, and then crash the cruise ship. Takes people out, there'll be less traffic, less carbon, kills the right mix of people. There's all sorts of people on cruises. And that was his plan that was his plan to solve pollution and traffic in.
You just release
Los
a virus
Angeles.
on the ship though. Release Ebola on the ship. One, then you get to reuse the ship. But I mean viruses spread like wildfire on cruise ships.
So just to clarify, what's the system of my program? So I am going to give you money for violence and that's going to save me carbon?
Nope. No. So the violence is already being committed, I suppose.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so the way that carbon credits work is, so let's just say you've got a forest, right? And the forest is going to be cut down for logging.
Yeah.
You can pay to kind of, buy that area and become a steward of that area. And because you've stopped all those trees from cutting down, you get carbon credits for that. So let's just say if I bought that, I could either keep those carbon credits to use for my business, or I can on-sell them to another business to use for their business to kind of get towards their net zero goal.
Yeah, but I don't think we have carbon tax anymore, though, do we?
Well, it's not. No, it's not about that. So lots of places have corporate sustainability plans, right? So they have a goal of reaching net zero by some date. And so they can use these carbon credits to do so. So it doesn't necessarily matter. You might have a self-imposed goal as a business to reduce carbon emissions. So you reduce carbon emissions, and then for anything where you can't, you buy carbon credits to offset the rest.
The businesses won't be concerned about the literal warmongering that they're involved in.
Well, if the war is going to happen,
like I'm all for it if you're
well,
saving
although
money.
I suppose the issue is, is that it actually has to be a war that wasn't going to happen already. Like
exactly.
To meet the standards for to meet the standards for a carbon credit, it actually has to be a war that wasn't going to be started already. In the same way that you've stopped these trees from being cut down by a logging company, you actually need to have a war happen.
Yeah.
which would not have otherwise happened. So
you're getting a bunch of companies involved in warmongering.
Yes, so they
Great
could.
conflict.
I guess they could perpetrate the violence themselves, or they can, let others go to war and then just purchase credits from those.
Because I sort of
companies.
thought you were sort of more talking about a terrorism kind of thing before, where it's more, what we're going to do is you're going to give me money and I'm just going to blow up factories and like that'll stop.
Yeah. Look, we prefer ethically sourced warfare.
Yeah. Okay.
Over these kind of guerrilla operations or terrorist-led organizations. So, we really support that sort of farm-to-table, ethically produced warfare.
Well, like, surely there's a few dictators that need overthrowing, and there's a bunch of rebel groups out there that could really need your help, and with your help could really make this war go from a small little rebellion to a full-fledged, military coup sort of.
So obviously, we wouldn't get involved in anything like that. Why
not? That seems like a good thing.
We facilitate the certification and selling. So we connect businesses to trade carbon credits.
Yes.
We think that violence is unethical. We would never be involved in such actions.
So how are you going to get this to actually, like, you're going to buy the carbon credits off the, person who started the war and then sell?
Yeah, they're going to generate them.
So okay.
We connect businesses.
Yeah, so you're connecting businesses. So really you're going to call up some dictators, call up some military coups, go, can we buy your carbon military tax credits? Oh, you blew up a factory yesterday? That's fantastic news for us.
Yes.
I will buy all that carbon credit.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And then you trade it with the, So, yes, like I said, you're really just buying, you're a trader.
Yeah, we're like a middleman. Yeah, and like certifier as well. In the same way that you might get fair trade certified coffee. You'll pay to sort of, have that logo.
I can't see why, why can't I sell you my carbon credits?
You can.
Like,
so that's how carbon credits work.
No, but could I for example, right? Could I just could I turn off? I'll switch my power box off tonight, right? And I won't turn it back on for 24 hours. Now my carbon output would have been, I don't know, 10, let's say. Can you buy that 10 off me?
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, that's the way that it works.
Yeah, but why? Just because I didn't use it for a little bit.
Because some businesses generate carbon credits, and basically what you're saying is that you're reducing. I think one carbon credit is like 1,000. I can't even remember. It's like some amount of CO2, 1,000 or 10,000. So you're reducing, or that much carbon dioxide going into the atmosphere. And so that, and then you're basically saying, okay, well, you get a credit for that. Yes, then you can just unsell that to other businesses.
So, guy in the forest could just be like, I'm living in this forest. I'm going to sell you my carbon tax credits.
Well, no, because he can't. So, I mean, it's a bit stupid. You have to essentially. So you can get them by planting trees or creating a theater of war, or you can sort of prevent existing forest land from being cut down, which would have been cut down otherwise, and that'll also give you carbon credits.
But in your scenario,
I feel like we're just getting into the economics of carbon credits
we
now,
are.
rather than
It's not the economics. It's the like. I don't understand why like a person fighting a war can now just sell his like. It's like, yeah, I blew up a bunch of factories. That's
because he's
carbon credits for
reduced
you.
emissions.
He has
Exactly.
reduced emissions, but like if I
Yes.
reduce emissions, can I make money off this? That's where I'm going with this.
If you had a business that had large scale, but I don't think you'd be generating enough CO2 emission reductions to create a carbon credit.
Well, I want to reduce. Well, like this doesn't make sense. I have to
You'd
be a
have to
business.
you'd basically have to, yeah. What you'd have to do is you'd have to start one bit, or like, okay, yeah, you'd start one business that was like a conservation business that buys like lots of land. And then what you'd do is you'd start another business that's a logging business. And first you'd buy it with the logging business. You'd buy the land with the logging business. And you'd be like, I'm going to log this. And then you'd be like, with your other business, you'd come in and you'd buy it. And you'd be like, well, I bought it and I stopped it from being logged. And then you'd have carbon credits from that business, which you could on-sell, even though you never had any intention of actually logging the land. The logging business doesn't even have any equipment or anything.
What if I started a business where I just put a giant campfire in my backyard and I just let it burn for a week, reduced shitloads of carbon emissions, and then went, I'm going to shut down my business? Could I then claim that because I shut my business that I can then claim the carbon credits?
No, I don't think it works like that.
Oh.
Well, I guess in this situation it does work.
But I stopped because
yes.
I wanted to stop carbon emissions.
Yeah, it worked. That's exactly how it works. Yes.
All right, that's how I'm going
That's
to do
exactly how it works.
it. All right, should we get back to our informative podcasts about everybody's
let's get
favorite
back to
family?
it.
We were up to Martin Luther and his indulgences. So Leo's attitude to everything was, and again, another short quote for you: "Let us enjoy the papacy since God has given it to us." Seems like with the Martin Luther situation, he failed to really understand what was happening.
Yeah,
Like it's
the
sort
magnitude of the movement.
Yeah, I think he didn't fully understand what was going on the fringes of his Catholic empire.
Well, the papacy was so powerful too, so he probably just didn't think it was shit.
He didn't think it was going to go anywhere. Yeah, you're right. It was considered such a low threat to him, but from here it steamrolls, and we all kind of know what happens. You probably don't know what happens.
Yeah, I do. I know he was Protestant, right?
Yeah,
and I remember he hated the indulgences, and he wrote some big fucking manifesto, and he got a bunch of people together.
Yeah,
and they went round and they burnt down churches, and it was a huge revolt. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know he burnt churches,
but it wasn't so much that. It was more. It started a Protestant movement. Protestantism started up in all sorts of countries.
Protestant was just more militant Christianity, right?
No, it was basically just Christianity with them breaking away from the church.
That's what I mean. Yeah, no, it was more militant though. Like as in when I say more militant, I mean like stricter. It was back to kind of probably what they did in the past. Yes,
because as I talked about before, Leo is part of this Medici family who are very much, they flaunt what they've got.
They're liberals.
They're liberals. They're artistic. They're generous. Patrons of the art. All that sort of stuff. He's not. It was said he was too intelligent to believe in the true Catholic doctrine. So he's not really like, there is the doctrine and he's not living by it at all. Like you were saying before about the church being...
he's just there for the golden boys and the party.
The golden boys. We haven't got to the golden boy yet. As Pope, he procured the services of professional singers, instrumentalists, and composers from as far away as France, Germany, Spain. Francesco della Milano, the foremost lute composer of his time, was prominent in this music establishment. He had music apparently playing the entirety of his life. So obviously everyone here likes listening to podcasts. He would have musicians apparently just playing all day. He'd wake up, they'd just play all day in the background, which is obviously exceedingly expensive.
Yeah. Obviously comes from a rich family. Fuck, why are we spending all this money?
Money on this. He had a private life behind his public life. There's suggestions he may have been a homosexual. But yes, lots of sex parties and that sort of thing. Very generous. Charitable donations. Helped retirement homes, hospitals, discharged soldiers, pilgrims, poor students, exiles, cripples, the sick, unfortunate. He was quite generous. Even though he's poor, well, not poor, he is spending all the church's money on all these things.
He just doesn't give a shit about money. He doesn't even know what money means.
Yeah.
Spending it.
So the church does run out of money, right? Because of his vast personal... He obviously spent his own, like, he was buying everything from art, his own personal stuff, clothes, lavish parties, all that sort of stuff. He then had to pawn the papal jewels, palace furniture, tableware, and even the statues of the apostles.
It's got rules.
He kept selling cardinal hats.
He's got merch.
So, well, no, it's more like he's selling the cardinals. If you want to be a cardinal, you can...
Oh, I see. I think it's just selling the hats.
At his death, an ambassador estimated the number of the church paying officers as 2,150 and the capital value of approximately 30,000 drachmas and a yearly income. So they're spending 3 million and earning 328,000. So spending
big deficit.
Huge deficit. He raised the church
1,000 times.
So he helped his family a lot as well. During this time, he's got a lot of family members around, and he continues to fund and help them secure top marriages around Italy.
Matchmaker too.
Yes. He showed special favor to the Jews actually for a pope, which is a bit of a nice one for you. Wasn't a Jew hater.
Normally goes the other way.
Definitely usually goes the other way.
History has shown.
He seemed quite happy with them. He was quite happy to let them do what they wanted to do. Now, we talked about your famous Golden Boy.
Yes.
Now,
my favorite.
The story I've got is that, so after our friend Pedro the Unfortunate is kicked out of Florence, Leo, with the help of the church, now that he's Pope, takes back Florence for the family. Okay.
Does the papacy have an army?
No, but they've got influence still.
Yeah, okay.
And obviously with he spent all the money, because surely there's money in there that's bribes and that sort of stuff and building stuff for people and the marriages and dowries. But the story is that after they retook Florence, he painted this child in gold paint, and the child later died. And it was supposed to represent the golden, again, a new golden age in Florence.
New golden age, golden boy.
But again, I think that's a bit of a dodgy story.
I think it's the best story that came out of medieval history. It's just very funny. It's paint this kid gold. And didn't he had danced all night or something, right?
It was dance I think he danced. Yeah, well, it was probably I'm just going to paint a kid in gold, bring him out for a minute, and then throw him back out the back. You're going to enjoy the dancing of the golden boy, I would assume.
The things that boy probably saw.
Yes.
Not good.
Things that boy... the poor
not
child.
Good things.
All right, so Leo eventually died. All right, so that's Leo, second child, down. We're now going to get to the third child. Okay. He's actually not Lorenzo's biological son. He is... Remember we had the conspiracy where in a previous episode, we had the brother. There was a conspiracy to kill them both, and the brother was killed.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember the guy from Pisa? Yeah, the guy from Pisa. Yeah. So his son was adopted by Lorenzo. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one has any idea who his mother was. Not recorded in history.
A mystery.
So he's a bastard child.
Or it was a virgin birth to a man.
If it's a virgin birth, then he's not related, and they didn't adopt this kid for family reasons, which is what they're saying.
The brother, it's a virgin birth. The brother gave birth to this child on his own.
No, he definitely had a mother.
Like Jesus.
You imagine Medici to come out and say
But a
this?
man,
Yeah.
way more impressive.
Yeah, way more impressive. Dude had a baby, what the?
He just goes to have a bat one day. Just comes and he's just like, what the fuck is that? It's a fucking baby. It's just been like a week. Just been like a week since he had a bat.
So he grew up alongside Giovanni, our Pope Leo X that we just spoke about. So they grew up together as brothers. You know, he was adopted, legitimate son. But he obviously didn't appear on the world stage until 1513, when at the age of 35, his cousin was elected Pope, Pope Leo X. So he sort of just sit in the background, but now that his brother/cousin is the Pope, things are looking up for him. So he worked his way up the ranks quite quickly from there. In the conclave, so what have I got here? In conclave, Cardinal Giallo controlled the largest voting bloc.
The conclave is when they pick the next pope.
Yeah.
You gonna speak?
I forgot how to speak. I had to read my notes. Hang on.
Yeah, I know that because I looked up that movie Conclave, and then I found out what the definition of conclave was. It's the group of cardinals who pick the next pope. Do you know that there's a pope hammer?
No.
And after the pope dies, they have to hit him in the head with this hammer to make sure he's dead. Check that he's dead. Okay. Did you know that?
No.
It's true. Yeah, it's like this white hammer, the pope hammer.
That's a pretty cool name, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. They hit him in the head and make sure he's dead.
So
I wonder whether like Benedict or whatever, when he retired, they're like, well, look, we gotta hit you in the head once with this thing. You don't have to be dead, but like, sorry man, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Just one hit. Conclave.
So the conclave. So my notes are all messed up, but I'll I'll wing this bit. So they went to conclave after the death of Pope Leo X.
I wasn't under the impression that you hadn't been winging it.
I need to give myself general notes, but I've messed my notes up here badly. So from what I can remember from the story is we've got Leo has died. We've gone to conclave. Now Adrian VI is eventually promoted to the papacy, and he's against the Medici family. Okay, and he only lasts 20 months in the papacy, and this is when Clement VII, otherwise known as the guy we're talking about, Medici, is elected to the Pope. There was a bit of a
So he was in there as well. Okay, he was in the papacy as well.
So he's in the papacy as well. He's a cardinal as well from a young age.
Yeah.
But there was a bit of a backlash when Leo died.
Sounds like Lorenzo just couldn't be fucked taking care of these two. He was just like, I got one. The other two of you just fuck off.
No, it was a bit of a thing.
They get raised by the church.
It's a bit of a thing. Like you kind of send off your second son to the papacy or third son to the papacy. Like
you got to feed.
Well, you've got to give.
Beast.
You've got to give your first son all your land to keep the family name going. The other son's like a backup, and then the third son might as well send him to the church to see if he can grow us some influence there.
Oh, that makes sense. I just thought it was like a, I don't know,
like a
dowry for the church, you know.
And like his cousin, he was considered very generous to his relatives. He drained the Vatican treasury. Gave people cardinalships, land titles, and money. These measures were, after his death, were actually fixed so that popes couldn't do this anymore. So they were.
Both these guys sound awesome. Like I've never really thought of like the papacy as being like this like party house. It just sounds sick at that particular point in time.
Yes, at this point in time with the Medici popes. But yeah, they
Sucks
stopped this.
Now. It's all formalized.
They stopped this excessive nepotism after his death. Like they write all the rules in to stop this from going on. But as a person, he was actually considered respectfully and devout. He was dignified in character and had great knowledge of theological issues and scientific issues. So like he's quite a like well-rounded, devout person, just has the same spending problem as the rest of his family. his profound insight into political affairs across Europe were very helpful. But because of his cousin's lack of understanding of the Reformation that was taking place, Protestantism was everywhere and was spreading, and there was nothing he could do about it. He left a cultural legacy. He commissioned the artworks by Raphael, Michelangelo. You got
Michelangelo would have been
stuff.
pretty old by then, right?
So if you remember back to our original story,
Yeah, he was training them. Or
no,
like, they were
Michelangelo
hanging
was
out
living
him.
with them all. Yeah.
That's what I mean. So he would have been pretty old by the time he painted the chapel.
You say old, but like they're like 30,
50.
40 when they're popes. Remember the other
Yeah,
guy
I like all
came
those
to
hidden. I like all those hidden things about like because I know wasn't it the church didn't like the artwork looking too real or realistic, which is why they had like the old paintings were kind of shit, and the Renaissance was such a big thing because they started to get like more realistic with everything. It was because the church didn't want people to essentially like glorify or like worship like the human form or like these, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's like why the Renaissance was such a big change, right? Because it represented a rise in like secularism. But it's interesting. So like I think Michelangelo fought a little bit against that. So like there's these examples of like and I don't know if they're intentional or not. You'd have to ask him. But like so the one where it's is it Adam or David touching God? Adam touching God on the roof of the Sistine Chapel.
Sistine Chapel.
But it's like if you kind of zoom out, it's in the shape of like the human brain. So it's like sort of pointing to this idea of like more like humanistic values rather than religious values. There's all these like hidden things that he did like that, which are kind of interesting.
Yes, and it's actually quite a big like conspiracy thing. There's a lot of arguments that Michelangelo didn't want to do this.
Yeah.
He was forced to by his brother / the Pope. He wanted to do other things. Michelangelo was always I think the thing was he wanted to be a sculptor, but they kept telling him, no, you gotta paint. But he didn't particularly like painting, he liked sculpting. So it was he didn't how long did it take him to paint the Sistine Chapel? Like 7-8 years?
I don't know. You're the one telling the story.
Well, buddy, it took him a long time, let me assure you. It took him a long time to paint the Sistine Chapel, and I think he hated it the whole time.
It's funny. I feel like people who are good at art are like a lot of the time are good at all art. So he's just this amazing painter. But he's like, no, I prefer sculpture. And he's like an amazing sculpturist. Like
I said, everyone sort of goes Leonardo da Vinci and stuff like that is all like, he's an inventor. His paintings look sick. Like he's extremely talented painter too. Clement is best known for proving in 1533 Nicholas Copernicus' theory that the world revolves around the sun, 99 years before Galileo's heresy for a similar idea.
Who did?
Okay, so Clement VII, who's the Pope.
Oh, Clement. Yeah. I think I've heard that before, that the church actually believed that the Earth went around the sun, and then and then they went back to the old idea later.
Yes,
I've heard that before. I guess that was him.
Yep.
Interesting. He proved it, or posturized it.
He didn't. Clement didn't prove it. He went
posited.
Yeah, that guy's right. We agree with that as the church.
Ah, okay.
1533, Nicholas Copernicus.
Oh, Copernicus. Yeah.
Yep, you've heard that name, haven't you? I don't know much about him, but I've definitely heard of his name too. Clement installed his illegitimate nephew Alexander as Duke. So Alexander is another Medici who we haven't mentioned. He's a
Duke
of Florence.
Okay.
Paternity was tested, but we showed him great favoritism. Like his paternity was he was basically there's legitimate.
Okay, they didn't have DNA tests back then.
No, but he's a bastard child, and his true lineage remains debated, but they put him in anyway. The Pope showed him great favoritism throughout his life. He was Florence's first hereditary monarch. Okay, so we're no longer a kingdom anymore. Sorry, we're no longer a republic. He's now just taken a monarchy of Florence. 1529, Clement gave and grant permission and pilgrimages for Charles V of France, the Spanish Empire, which included the powers of patronage within the colonies of America. So we're all talking about like he's given people rights to land in America. But
Never
eventually,
seen it. He's just like, you can have that land.
well, the thing is, he had to do this because Rome was sacked in 1527 and he was captured by Charles V of Spain.
He's kind of coerced.
So he's kind of coerced.
Under duress.
He was kept there for 6 months. He eventually escaped by bribing imperial guards, but
Did
came back to Rome later.
Caesar did, where he's like, I'm worth way more than this, buddy.
No, he didn't pay his. He just escaped.
Broke out, pretended he was foraging, pissed on a tree, got out of there.
So, do you know much about the Reformation, the English Reformation? No?
Nah, I feel like that's where I really dropped off with medieval history. I think I stopped giving a shit.
The whole Henry VIII
talking
thing.
about that.
It's the whole Henry VIII thing.
Where they split from split from the Pope. Yeah.
So this takes place.
He said, actually, I'm the head of the church. Yeah.
Yeah. So this takes place.
Divorce.
This takes place under Clement. Now, he asked for a divorce, right? He goes to the church, he sends a letter to the Pope and says, I would like a divorce. But unfortunately, the woman he's married to, Catherine of Aragon, is Charles V's niece. So this French guy that's captured him and given him all these problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he doesn't want to piss that guy off anymore, so he refuses to give this divorce.
Oh, so if that hadn't happened, he might have got the divorce.
Yes.
That would have changed
divorces
history.
Were quite like, kings usually ask for divorces. Popes were generally like, yeah, fine, go nuts. Like, Lear would have done it for a 20. Like, let's be honest. Like, you say, I want to divorce my wife, and he'd be like, how much you got? And he'd be like, I got some money. Done. You divorce your wife. But he couldn't because of Charles V wouldn't let that happen.
This is the first interesting thing that you've said.
Is it? You didn't know that?
Yeah, I think so. No.
That blows your mind?
Yeah, a little bit. That one decision. Big change in history.
It had a big change in history. Obviously, the Pope excommunicates him from the Catholic Church. So Protestantism has taken over his kingdoms. He's losing to the Protestants badly
in Europe, and then I guess the UK or whatever, England's gone to have become Anglican.
Yes.
Yep.
So they've all become Anglican. They've left the church. That's more money not coming in from England.
Mm-hmm.
He marries.
I have a question. So when King whatever Charles or whatever, he goes, I'm the head of the church now. So the whole thing was that the Pope was meant to talk to God.
Yes.
Right. Did King Charles then be like, oh, I can talk to God now? Actually, God's just started talking to me. Is that like, did he, or he didn't say that?
I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so. No, I think he still respected the position, but yes, was very much coercing him into doing the things that he wanted done. You know about the first bit we started with, he just granted the colonies of America to Spain. It's like, well, like by royal decree. That's not royal decree, by God's decree, that is now your land. He stopped the wedding from being annulled. You had some he had a good case for annulling the wedding. There was an argument that you're not supposed to marry your brother's wife. He got in trouble for that. And that was his argument. It's in the Bible.
What?
Oh, so
your brother's wife? Whose brother's wife?
Henry VIII had an older brother. That older brother married Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
The older brother died, and then they didn't want to lose the alliance. So the second son just stepped up and married her. So he married his brother's wife. And it was in the Bible that you're not supposed to do that. He was like, well, there's my reason. I'm not supposed to do that. But didn't work. He married off Catherine de Medici into the French royal family. And they married into the Habsburg family as well, giving them family titles. In 1534, Clement wrote a long letter to farewell Emperor Charles and affirmed just days before his death that Michelangelo should paint the Last Judgment above the altar in the Sistine Chapel. Clement died 2 days later on September 25th, 1534, having lived to 56 years and 4 months, being Pope for 10 years. His body's in St. Peter's Basilica. And yeah, so most of the works, Sistine Chapel, Last Judgment, Raphael stuff, the Transfiguration, Michelangelo's sculptures, all done by them. There is something called the Clementi style, which is an Italian Renaissance artistic trend that took place. So he's got like a style of architecture named after him because it was built like around his time and he like funded most of it. Like I said, he lived a good life free from impulses, but someone said that he had all the personal attributes to like be a good leader, but it was just a tragedy as his whole life was just all of Europe was falling apart because of this Protestant Reformation. And that is our last member. I just wanted to finish our family story. A few quick notes. They're obviously super rich beyond belief. Can't even comprehend. Unbelievable. They're still around today. There is still the descendants of the Medici is still around today. They ruled until about the 1700s, so the family continued. They just weren't very rich and powerful. They weren't as rich and powerful as they once were. So they were still rich and powerful, but nothing to the levels that they were.
Mm-hmm.
The last duchess, one of the last duchesses of Florence, gave the entire art collection to Florence. So they had this family art collection. They kept it in the family for 200-300 years before they eventually just gave it to the city. Ran out of money.
And now they're in a lozenge business, Lorenzo's lozenges, and Medici's peaches.
It's not a bad name for a pizza.
No, not pizza.
I'd buy
Peaches.
Medici's pizza. Or peaches. Medici's pizzas. No, I want a pizza. No. You keep saying pizzas.
All right. That might do us for this week. History Squirt.